listening to The Breakfast Show here on Faith FM. And today we're not going to be calling Justin Lawman, Lawson, because we have the honor and the privilege of having him right here with us in flesh and bones. Justin, welcome to the studio. It's great to have you here, mate.
Good to be here. I need to acknowledge my grandkids who I left this morning. My daughter and husband live in Toronto. And,
nice.
Toronto, shout out.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Monica and Josh. And Luca, who goes across as Puka Luca, and don't ask why he's that. And then Hudson, and he's Hudson Taylor for me. So,
nice.
Great missionary. So right. Hello to Luca and Hudson. They're listening right now.
Oh, awesome.
Hello, guys. Hello, boys. Nice to have you listening to us. So, Justin, we have seen some interesting things happening in the geopolitical space in the previous week. I think that one of the big news is that Putin seemed to have indicated to the U.S. that they can stop the fighting if they receive the Donbas region in Ukraine. Is that going to fly? What's your 2 cents here?
Look, Trump would give them the Donbas. Like, if he can get a deal done, he'd give away half Ukraine, I think. But it's whether the Ukrainians are going to live with that. I think that's been the thing that's frustrated Trump. You saw this shocking blow-up that he had on the camera.
Yeah. How can you forget
normally
that?
Happens behind the cameras, but this happened in front of the camera. So Trump is tried to coerce and force, but if these people were easily coerced and forced into deals, none of this would have ever happened in the first place. They're not that type of people. They're tough.
I feel that we're kind of walking around in circles on that matter, because then the following day, Zelensky said, we're not giving any land. So we're back to kind of, it's so
That's
back
it.
to square one.
I think, if anything, Zelensky and that side will probably, anything that Trump can work out with Putin, how's he going to ensure that they come along with it? And all he can do then is threaten to take away their support, which will end up with Putin winning, and he doesn't want that either. So
that's right.
Trump's in a bit of a jam himself here.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Not an easy situation.
No.
What about the I don't know if you have seen. Have you seen? I just got across that material yesterday of an AI video that apparently was published. I think that Trump was even behind it. They basically saw Barack Obama being arrested in front of Trump in the Oval Office.
It's a meme.
It's a meme here. But
there's no end of those if you want to.
There's no end of those, and I think that has been I think that I don't know. Is that related to the Epstein files things, or is that Russiagate? What's that all about?
It's Russiagate. They are, folks. I'm telling you now, this space is going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. I said to Lawson a while ago, sort of jabbing Lawson a little bit, that Barack was going to get arrested. You'll see a mugshot of Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah.
Trump has since come out and said, oh, no, he can't be prosecuted because he's been the president. Because Trump's protecting himself there for the future, too.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because there was the ruling after Trump was prosecuted, the Supreme Court said, well, a president's immune from that. So Barack may not actually be going to prison or anything, but there's a whole stack of people. Now, there's a grand jury being formed by the DOJ, the Justice Department, Department of Justice. They are indicting now. So they're to the point, they're showing the evidence they want to indict. And we're talking names like Hillary Clinton, who does not have any form of immunity. We're talking names like Comey and Brennan and all of these guys that were leading the FBI and the CIA at the time, and then layers of people underneath. And so they're going to come at these guys, and they'll probably get something to stick. This is not a minor thing. This is never really, like Letitia James, who successfully prosecuted Trump. She is seriously looking like she's going to end up in jail now.
Wow.
The retaliation or the fight back, whichever you want to call it, that's coming back against the Democratic side is not small, because Trump has learned a lot from his first term. that he was really led around by the nose by his own people inside. They've just fired 3 prominent people in the FBI that they've worked out. Hang on, you were involved with Obama, and they're having this cleanse on. I spoke about that last week. Laura Loomer is heading the charge with these list of names. Well, they actually fired those people since we spoke about it. They're cleansing, and Trump's base will not be satisfied. They're not going to come out and vote in the midterms if they don't get some blood. Yeah. This is like blood sport now. And when I say blood, I mean they want to prosecute Hillary. They want to prosecute Comey. They want to get some big name and see them what they call perp walked. They walk them in handcuffs into prison or, in front of a court. This is going to take some time, but there's some very worried people on that other side. Because I remember there was a guy named Trey Gowdy. Did you ever know?
No, I haven't heard about him.
Trey Gowdy he was a senator. He was a really amazing mind and prosecutor. And he was interviewed once. Why don't they ever get prosecuted, the big guys? He said, because if we prosecute them when we're out of power, guess what they're going to do to us? Yeah. And he said, that's always the reason this never happens. Well, they crossed the Rubicon, they went across into Rome when they prosecuted Trump successfully. So now the gloves are off and the other side is in power and they're not going to give up power for anyone. So they're going to do this thoroughly and they're going to go for it. And I think we're going to see some pretty troubling things happen.
Wow. I mean, if they're going after the Clintons, this is a bit multi-angled then because it's from a Russiagate perspective, and then also they've been subpoenaed regarding Epstein as well. So they're trying to throw everything at these guys.
Well, this is what they do. They go after one thing, but that gives them access to go after everything.
Yeah.
And famously, the Russian dictator, what did he said, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. You just give me the person, we'll find a crime eventually. Yeah. That's how this stuff works. They're not like seeking justice necessarily. And this is now about winning politically as well. This is messy, and it's a sad day that we've got to this place. And I think when they prosecuted Trump for his 35 felony charges or whatever they were, it was over him getting a loan from a bank that he paid back.
Yeah.
And the bank said, we were happy we'd do another loan.
Yeah.
Like, really? That's what you're going to get him over?
Yeah.
So
I remember that.
They crossed a line there. And I think they're going to regret that because there's some
they're poking the proverbial bear there.
Proverbial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grizzly. Wow.
And what about Israel? What's going on in Israel? We have that massive march in the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and
you hear there's a counter march being planned now.
Well, there was one in Melbourne just a couple days ago. But
Tell us about it.
It was a small one, but it was like a
end of August.
In Melbourne, it was like a stand up for your rights as white Australians type deal. It was very, very small. It was like guys wearing black masks. And
I reckon that's staged, those ones. But
you reckon?
Anyway, when they all have the same clothes on, that's staged for me. But that's just me.
Yeah.
They're promoting this to the end of the month. I think it's August 30 or August 31st. They won't say where yet, where they want Australians to come out who are protesting against what happened on that march across the bridge.
Yeah.
So it's almost, this is a can of worms that we don't want to let the lid off this. The Cronulla riots sort of, that always harks back to that. And in John Howard's time, that was really turned very dark very quickly. Yeah. And so if we start to do this, Australia has a history where we're not particularly tolerant.
Yeah.
And that's getting, again, the bear's being poked. We'll see what happens. But I think there's a lot of the average Joe is getting angrier and angrier over these issues. We don't need to get drawn into this. We are really not directly involved at all.
That's man.
Are we?
I feel
No.
strongly about this particular topic that, again, this march is over foreign conflicts, which are devastating, terrible, whatever it may be. But then I think, for your average Australian, like, I do like looking at the people marching. I'm like, hey, look, if you want to have a march and you've got a proof for the march, then have a march. But then, like, walking across the Sydney Harbour Bridge with Taliban flags, like...
They burned the
why?
Aussie flag. So that's now on the ads
Why?
for the counter march. They burned an Australian flag. What was it we're doing over there in Gaza again? You're going to burn our flag? So you know what that's done? The average Aussie is now on Israel's side more than they were before.
Yeah.
We see these horrid images and hear the descriptions and we think, just stop already. Why are kids being killed? Why is all these people are starving? And, of course, what's really going on, we don't know. But there's terrible things going on, clearly. Now the average Aussie, he's kind of got his back up that you're burning my flag on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And what was that over again? So there's a level of tolerance that Australians have shown that we go back in our history. We're not actually that particularly tolerant within our own country to alternative ideas like that.
Yeah, like, it's so inflammatory. It makes me cringe.
I've seen, and I think that the whole world has seen that image of that Jewish hostage. He's digging his own grave and looking extremely
in a tunnel somewhere.
In a tunnel somewhere. And that prompted Benjamin Netanyahu to say, you know what, we are actually occupying Gaza. What's kind of happening that front?
That was your original question. Well, what are they doing over there? Well, look, the Israelis seem to be immune to protests. They are pushing on, and they are going to take back the entirety of Gaza is the plan, that it will become under Israel's control. Now, the rest of the world can scream and yell and everything, but if America will back Israel to do that, there's nothing anyone can do about it. It will go ahead. And they have already thoroughly annihilated the place. How they would rebuild it, and every bit of money they seem to get, they want to build another tunnel that can help with them fighting Israel. And to see that prisoner, he was at a concert. They show the before and after pictures, and he's just a gaunt shadow of himself now in some tunnel underground, having to dig for them.
Haven't seen the light of the sun for who knows so many days.
So that, again, that's not real smart. I don't think the October 7th thing has ended well for the people of Gaza. People are not thinking logically or rationally. They're thinking with emotions. And that's a dangerous thing. And Israel's fallen into the same thing. You show these hostages and they get descriptions of what happened. They give their dead bodies back and they find them tortured. Well, Israel responds like for like. Eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, which is very Old Testament. And here we go. So I don't see a real happy ending here for anyone. It's a mess. Yeah. And Gaza is probably going to come under Israel's control because the ability to rebuild it, Israel will never trust whatever comes into the country, like food or anything that's coming in. They're going to think, well, that's going to be used by Hamas. It's always Hamas. And so everything's a conflict and a fight. And at the moment, Israel's not backing off. They're doubling down and saying, well, we're taking control of this whole strip.
Wow. And I think that kind of reminds me a little bit of that psalm. I think it's Psalm 2, where the nations are enraged and they're, conspiring against the law of God and the Son of God. Because when you look at, I think that the common denominator of all those stories, like the political bloodbath in America that's underway, war in Russia and in Ukraine, and now we're seeing, the civil unrest here in Australia that, we're seeing perhaps sparkles of it in the beginning of a broader, hopefully not, but potentially the beginning of a brother conflict, and Israel and Gaza and so on. When I look into that, I'm seeing, look, all of this was what Jesus pointed to, the convulsions of a world that is coming nearer to the coming of Christ, yet they cannot acknowledge his lordship.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
How cool it was.